Let's be real for a second. Thinking about money can be insanely stressful, right? You've got retirement accounts, mutual funds, all these budgeting apps, and it just feels like a full-time job that nobody ever trained you for. We're all worrying. Am I saving enough? Am I investing in the right things? Am I just messing this all up? But what if the answer wasn't more complexity, but way, way less?
So why is this so hard? I mean, we're smart people. We're successful in our own jobs. Why does looking at our finances feel like trying to navigate through a thick fog? Well, here's the good news. The problem isn't you. The problem is the just overwhelming number of choices we have to make every single day. And this slide just nails it. Think about it. You go to the grocery store and there are 20 different kinds of mayonnaise. Then you look at your 401k and there are 100 different funds with these crazy complicated names. As you can see from this chart, when our options explode, our anxiety shoots right up with it. We get so overwhelmed that we're paralyzed by this fear of making the wrong choice. And what happens then? A lot of the time, we do nothing at all.
And hey, if you've ever felt this way, you are in very, very good company. The financial planner Carl Richards, who wrote the book we're talking about, says that people at the top of their game, doctors, lawyers, artists, they often feel completely lost when it comes to their own money. The most common thing he hears from them is, "Just please tell me what to do."
It was actually out of that same frustration, getting bogged down in all the little details, that Richards asked himself this really powerful question. He wondered, what if all the truly important stuff, the things that really matter, could fit on a single page? That simple idea right there is the key to cutting through all the noise.
And that one question became the whole foundation for his book, The One-Page Financial Plan. Its core idea is exactly what we're going to dive into today. It's all about moving from that feeling of overwhelming complexity to a sense of focused clarity. Okay, let's get into it. So, here's our game plan. We've kind of touched on the paralysis problem. Next, we'll unpack this one-page solution. Then we get to the real heart of it, discovering your personal why. After that, we'll map out a simple action plan. And finally, we'll talk about the one thing that makes it all work, your behavior.
So, what is this thing really? It's not about trying to cram every last detail onto a piece of paper. Nope, it's about boiling your entire financial life down to the few things that actually matter most. Get this, Richards actually tells you to use a Sharpie and a simple piece of cardstock. A Sharpie! Why? Because you can't get lost in the tiny details. That thick marker forces you to write big, broad, important statements. It's not about getting every number perfect, it's about getting the direction right. The goal here is focus, not some flawless 100-page document that you'll just stuff in a drawer and never look at again.
Now, before we even think about stocks or savings rates, we have to start at the real beginning. And that's with a question that most financial advice just completely ignores. What is all this money actually for?
I love this metaphor. Think of it like going to the doctor. A good doctor doesn't just hand you a prescription the second you walk in the door, right? Of course not. They start with a diagnosis. They ask questions. They listen. It's the exact same thing with your money. You have to diagnose what's truly important to you, your values, before you can prescribe any actions like saving or investing.
So how do you figure this out? You start by asking yourself, why is money important to me? And as this slide points out, if you're feeling a little stuck, there are two places you can look for the brutally honest truth. Your calendar, which shows how you really spend your time, and your bank statement, which shows where your money really goes. Those two things, they never lie.
Because at the end of the day, this is the whole point. Financial planning isn't about dying with the most money in the bank. It's about using money as a tool to build a life that actually reflects your deepest values. When your spending lines up with what you truly care about, that's when you find real financial happiness.
If you are finding this video helpful, please make sure to hit that like button and share it with someone who this might help and be a benefit to their financial decision-makings. Your support means a lot to me and helps the channel grow, allowing the YouTube algorithm to show this content to a bigger crowd. More people can benefit from these ideas and hopefully improve their financial well-being.
Because at the end of the day, this is the whole point. Financial planning isn't about dying with the most money in the bank. It's about using money as a tool to build a life that actually reflects your deepest values. When your spending lines up with what you truly care about, that's when you find real financial happiness.
First up, let's just reframe the word budget. I know. Most of us hear it and we think of restriction, of misery, of everything we can't have. But that is all wrong. A budget is not a financial diet. It's a tool for awareness. Its only job is to shine a light on where your money is really going, so you can then consciously decide if that lines up with your values. It's about information, not restriction.
Next up, saving. Should you save 10%, 15%, 20%? You know what? Forget all the complicated rules. The best advice is so simple, it's brilliant. Save as much as you reasonably can. What's reasonable? Well, that's totally unique to you, your goals, and your life. It's an honest conversation with yourself, not some rigid formula you have to follow.
All right, let's talk investing. As this chart shows, probably the biggest mistake people make is confusing real investing with what Richards calls the carnival. The carnival is all that frantic, emotional, short-term guessing you see on the financial news channels. Real investing is the total opposite. It's logical, it's long-term, and it's boring. And this slide just says it all, doesn't it? Speculating is that chaotic, up and down, unpredictable scribble. It's super stressful. Real investing, when you do it right, should look like that slow, steady, upward-sloping line. It's calm. It's about capturing the long-term growth of the whole economy, not guessing what some hot stock is going to do tomorrow. In fact, here's a good rule of thumb. If your investment strategy is exciting, you're probably doing it wrong. The best investing is boring. It rewards patience and discipline, not constant action. You just plant the seeds, which means buying a diversified, low-cost portfolio, and then you let it grow. It should be about as exciting as watching grass grow, and that's a good thing. Okay, this brings us to the final, and I would argue the most important piece of this entire puzzle. You can have the perfect plan written down on your one page, but it is completely worthless without this one thing, the discipline to actually stick with it. You know, the single greatest threat to your financial success isn't a bad stock market. It's not the economy. It's not a bad investment pick. It's you. It's us. It's our human tendency to make what Richards calls the big mistake. Letting our fear or greed take over, causing us to sell everything when it's low and then buy it all back when it's high. Your number one job is to protect your plan from your own emotions. And just remember, this is not a one-and-done kind of deal. It's a simple, continuous process. As you can see, you define your goals based on your values, you make a plan, you pick some simple investments that fit that plan, and you just repeat. You stay the course and you review and adjust gently over time. It's a loop, not a finish line. So if we put it all together, the building blocks for your own one-page plan looks something like this. The foundation, the most important part, is your why. Then you build on that, budget for awareness, save what you reasonably can, and invest simply. And the glue holding it all together is your behavior, that discipline to stick with it for the long haul, especially when it gets hard. Look, The idea that finance has to be complicated is mostly a myth, one designed to make you feel like you need an expert for every little thing. But the truth is, the stuff that really matters, the things that will actually drive your success, are simple enough to fit on a single piece of paper. So the only question left is, what are you going to write on yours?
Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching. I'm Finance Puppy, and here's to a better financial tomorrow. Cheers!